Perry's Not So Perfect Day. One summer afternoon, Perry the polite porcupine stopped in the bookstore to say a friendly hello to Wendy the wise woodchuck. "I see you have a new book about manners and etiquette," Perry said, picking the book up from the pile on the table. "This looks like the perfect book for me. Seems to me you already know everything about good manners, Perry. You're always so polite and considerate of everyone," Wendy said. "There's always something new to learn," Perry answered. "I'd like to buy it, please." Perry paid for the book and Wendy put it in a pretty paper bag. Perry took the paper bag, thanked Wendy and started for home. Perry was just turning to the corner thinking about his new book when Una the unhappy unicorn waved to him from her porch. As usual, Una looked upset. "Perry, Perry," she called. Perry took off his cap and said, "Good afternoon, Una. Is something wrong?" "There's always something wrong," Una sighed. "I'm sure my pansies and petunias are getting too much sun today. Will you help me carry them up there?" "Well, I'm on my way home to read my new book, but I'll be glad to help you," he said. Perry carried all of Una's potted plants up the porch steps. Then he said goodbye to Una and continued on his way home. Perry wanted to hurry, so he decided to take a shortcut through the park. On the way, he looked at his pocket watch. "When I get home, I'll fix myself a pot of tea and a peanut butter sandwich. Then I'll still have plenty of time to read my book," he said to himself. Just as ahead, some of the AlphaPets were having a big picnic. When they saw Perry, they called to him. Perry did not want to stop, but he knew it was not polite to ignore his friends, so he walked over to the picnic table. "Hello, everybody," he said, tipping his hat politely. "Haven't you had dinner yet?" asked Rupert the resourceful rhinoceros. "Well, answered Perry, "I'm anxious to get home and Perry, we're about to begin the most wonderfully delighted gourmet picnic," exclaimed Emmy the exaggerating elephant. "We have pot roast, pickles, peas, parsley, potatoes, popovers, pineapples, pears, and peaches, plus a giant pitcher of pink punch. And for dessert, I made a super duper pumpkin pie. Please join us. We all love your company." "You must stay," Delilah the demanding duck insisted. "No ifs, ands, or buts." "Well then, I'll be glad to accept your kind invitation," said Perry. "It would be rude to refuse my friends," he said to himself. Perry sat down at the picnic table. He put a napkin in his lap and made sure that everyone was seated before he started to eat. When Perry wanted something he never grabbed, he politely asked someone to pass it. He waited until the platter of food was offered to him. Then he helped himself to a small portion. He used his fork and knife to cut his food, and he remembered to chew with his mouth closed. When dinner was finished, Perry helped clear the dishes and pack away the leftovers. Then he said the dinner was delicious. "Thank you very much for a very nice time." Perry picked up his package and hurried home. By the time Perry got home, it was too late to read, so he took a bath and put on his pajamas. He placed his new book carefully on the night table. Then he turned back his sheets, puffed up his pillows, and got into bed. As he was about to fall asleep, Perry thought, "Tomorrow will be my own." As he was about to fall asleep, Perry thought, "Tomorrow will be my very own special private read all day. I can't wait." The next morning, when Perry woke up, the sun was shining brightly. "What a perfect day to sit by the pool and read," he exclaimed. So after Perry ate his pancakes, he took his book and settled himself in a comfortable chair near the pool. Perry smiled to himself as he started to read his book. Always say please if you want something and thank you when you get it. Yes, I learned that a long time ago, Perry said. He read on. Always say hello when you arrive and goodbye when you leave. Shake hands and smile when you meet someone. Don't interrupt if someone is speaking. Don't interrupt when someone is speaking. Say excuse me if you bump into someone or if you make a mistake. Perry knew all those manners already. Perry was happily turning pages of his book when he heard the doorbell ring. Perry, Perry, is anybody home? Said a voice at the front door. I'm not expecting anyone, Perry said to himself. He put down his book and went to see what all the noise was about. Perry opened the door. Tina the truthful tiger and Connie the cuddly cat were there. Hello, Perry, said Tina. It's such a warm day. Connie and I thought we'd drop by for a swim in your pool. I hope you don't mind. Perry knew it was polite to make his friends feel welcome, but inside he was thinking, will I ever be able to read my book? He smiled. Well, come right in, he said. Thank you, whipped Tina and Connie. They followed Perry through the house to the backyard. Then they jumped in the pool with a splash. Tina and Connie weren't the only ones who dropped by for a swim. Soon Bradley the brave bear arrived, and so did Monty the mimicking mouse and Albert the absent-minded alligator. Hi, Perry, said Bradley. Perfect day, isn't it? Hi, Perry, said Monty. Perfect day, isn't it? I guess it was a perfect day, Perry said a little sadly. It sure is hard being polite sometimes, he thought to himself. Perry watched his friends having a wonderful time, splashing in the pool. Then he had an idea. He took his book and quietly slipped into the house. Perry ran to his bedroom and found the perfect hiding place, his closet. He pushed his shoes aside and sat down on the floor, opened his book and continued to read. Always be punctual. Do not keep people waiting. Be respectful of others, but respect yourself too. That's a new one. I wonder what that means, Perry said. He read on. If you really don't want to do something, you can say no politely. Perry's eyes lit up. Oh my goodness, he said. I never thought of it that way before. Being polite means treating people kindly, but it doesn't mean that I have to say yes all the time. I can say no in a kindly way too. Perry ran out to the pool. Listen, everybody, he called. The AlphaPets stopped playing and listened to him. I want you all to have a good time, and I don't want to hurt your feelings, but Perry. But Perry couldn't continue. What's wrong? Connie asked. Please tell us, said Tina. Well, Perry said, you're all my friends and I love you, but I didn't expect you to drop in on me. I'm sorry, but I have other plans today. There it said, thought Perry. His heart was pounding. The AlphaPets gathered around their friend. I hope you're not upset, Perry said softly. Not at all, said Bradley. You were polite as always, and it was brave of you to remind us to be considerate of you. Don't forget, said Albert. Friends should always tell each other how they feel. Well, we'd better get going, said Tina. Thank you for a very nice time, Perry. And next time we'll remember to call first, right? Right, everyone shouted. Right, said Monty. The end.